Hey, welcome everybody to this extra spreadsheet tips for genealogists. Now, as I mentioned in my newsletter for this week, last month was all about spreadsheets. July just seemed to be spreadsheet month, and I gave multiple webinars and short videos and presentations about spreadsheets, and there was a lot of interest. And there were two things that I really wanted to add, but I had to cut because I was trying to pack so much information into a video that there was no time. And those two things that I think are very important, especially when you're starting out, are inserting and deleting rows and columns in a spreadsheet you've already created, and then cells, sheets, tabs, worksheets, and workbooks. What do we mean when we use each of these words, and how do they go together? So let's do inserting and deleting rows and columns first. And this is very similar whether you're using Excel or Google Sheets or Apple Numbers. I'm going to show you some examples both on Google Sheets and on Excel because that's what I have available. I've confirmed that this also works on Apple Numbers in a very similar way. So let's start with Excel. And if you've been to any of my presentations this month, you've probably seen this spreadsheet. It's a simple spreadsheet that I've put together to list all of my ancestors that are buried in a cemetery near me. I live in the New York City metro area, and my family has lived there since they got off the boat. So since the mid 1800s. And I've got family members buried in a number of different cemeteries on Manhattan and Brooklyn and Queens. So if I want to plan a trip, or if I just want to make sure I have everybody's data, this is a good place to collect it. So what I have here is the spreadsheet of name, last name, just if I'm looking for a specific last name or specific family group, cemetery, death date, burial, and some other information if I have it. So let's say I'm here and I want to add another section for let's say visited versus not visited. So I want to put that column between cemetery and death date. So next to cemetery, I want to put a column that says visited, and then maybe I can put the date of the last time I visited, so the last year or what have you. So what I want to do is I want to highlight the column to the right of where I want to put my new columns. So if I want my column to be between C and D, I want to highlight D because it's going to insert the column to the left of D. So I'll click on D. And then if I look here on my home menu option, you'll see up top here, we have home, insert, draw, page layout. And if you click on each of these on top, the menu buttons change. So you want to make sure you're on home. And then we're going to go over to on the right side, we have insert here. And if I click on the down arrow under insert, I have really three options because I've already highlighted my column. So I can insert cells, I can insert a column, or insert a sheet. More about sheets later. So right now, I just want to insert a column. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come down and I'm going to left click on insert sheet column. And lo and behold, it inserts a blank column to the left of the death column, a column which is now column E. It used to be column D. I have a new column D. Notice I've put filters on this, and the new column does have the filter functionality already on it because it copied from the death column, which had a filter. So now this also has a filter. What I'll want to do is I'll want to name it. So we'll put visited. And then I can put data in it as I would any other column. So let's say the last time I went to Calvary was last year, 2025. And I could just keep doing that and just entering data. Maybe I was at Evergreen in 24 and just put data as I need to. And it's just like a normal column. I would enter data in it once it has been created, as the same way I would enter data anywhere else. A row is the same thing. Let's say, for instance, I wanted to add a row underneath number 4. So underneath, we have Joshua Webb here on number 4, who was an evergreen. If I want to, I take that back. It's going to add the row above. So if I insert cells, it's going to insert above. Now this time, when I clicked on insert, I put insert rows. So because there's no column, because I'm highlighting across. So when I highlight across, it's going to give me rows. When I highlight down, it's going to give me a column. And lo and behold, I have a blank column now that I can enter in more data for somebody else. Now, if I want to delete a column, the process is very, very similar. I'll just highlight the visited column here. Let's say this is the one that I want to delete, and I will click on the delete section, which is just to the left of the insert section. Click on the down arrow here. And again, I'm going to click on delete sheet columns. It gives you much of the same options as you had when you were inserting, except now we're just taking them away. We're deleting them. So I'm going to delete the sheet column by clicking here. And there you go. The visited column goes away. Death moves back over to D. And we're back to essentially where we started. So now I'm going to show you how to do this in Google Sheets. It's very much the same. Let me bring over my Google Sheets. This is a little bit of a different spreadsheet. The concept is the same, but the data is a little different. The columns are a little different. So I have name, surname, birth date, birthplace, death date, death place. So let's say what I don't have here is cemetery. So let's say I want to add a cemetery column for this spreadsheet to make it more like the one I had in Excel. What I would do is I would, let's put cemetery here between death date and death place. So I'll highlight F because I want to put it to the left of F, although Google does give you some choices here. Now, since I'm inserting, I want to go up here on my left to my insert menu option, and I'm going to click on that. And then I go down to columns because I want to add a column. And you'll see that Google gives you a choice between adding a column to the left versus adding a column to the right. In Excel, you're always going to get it to the left. So what you would do is will just click on one column to the left. And there I go. I have my extra column. I can add cemetery. And I'm good to go. I can just put information in here like I would anywhere else. If I want to delete a column, then I'm going to highlight it, highlight F. And in this case, I'm going to go to edit. Edit is the place where you can cut, copy, move, delete things in Google Sheets. So what I want to do is I got my F already highlighted. I want to click on edit, come down to delete. And then I have a choice here. Do I want to delete the data in column F? Well, there's no data in there except the heading of cemetery. Do I want to delete the whole column? Yes, that's what I want. So I'm going to click on column F, and there we go. Notice that the column F remains, just the information that was in the death place column to the right moved over. So you're doing the same basic thing. You're highlighting a column, and then you're finding the place in your program, be it Excel or Google Sheets, that has the functionality to either add or delete. Where you find that functionality is a little different for each, but the basic process is the same. So now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about quickly, we talk about cells, sheets, workbooks, worksheets. You may have heard all of these words come around. A cell is an individual box in a spreadsheet. So here we have a rows and columns. It's a set of cells, essentially. So the one I've highlighted here is it's column F, and it's row 5. So therefore, there's an address to that cell, and that address is F5 on this sheet. A sheet is the page that you're on, just like a document file, a digital document file, would have several pages that you could flip through. A spreadsheet file also has many pages or tabs, sometimes they call them tabs, that you can flip through. So if you look down along the bottom here, I've got 4 tabs here. I've got all data, which is the one we're on. That's why it's grayed a little darker. Then I've got 3 other tabs that I used in other demos. I've got my cemetery subset data that I used during one of my legacy family tree webinar datas, and then I've got the chart that I made. If you want to see how I've made this chart of family names and the count of what cemetery they're in, you can go to Legacy Family Tree Webinars, and I have it there. And then I just have a backup page just in case. So back to all data, and I'm just clicking on tabs, on the names to go from tab to tab. So these can be renamed, they can be deleted, they can be added. To do a lot of that, you just hover over the name of it and right click, and you have options to move them around so they're in a different order. You can delete. Rename is when you give them your own name, as opposed to, they usually just come up as sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. So the sheet, the screen that you're on, the actual sheet that you're on, or the tab that you're on, is a spreadsheet, or some people will call it a sheet, some people will call it a tab. But all of those words really mean the same thing. The workbook is the entire file. It's the thing that you save, and when you go look for it among your files, the whole workbook is together. In Google, since I'm online, you could see up top here that the name of this workbook is Demo for Charts, Filters, and Pivot Tables. If I go back to Excel, it's the same thing. I have here 3 tabs. I have data, my count of cemetery. This again was from Charts and Pivot Tables. Go check it out on Legacy Tree. My data for a pivot table. And what Excel will do is it will always give you a blank sheet. Well, I put information in this one, but you'll always start with a sheet 1. And then you can add sheets as you like. So I can always add a sheet 2, sheet 3, and it keeps track. So it's always going to number your sheet. And then similar to what happens in Google Sheets, I can right click and I can rename, I can delete, I can move them around. But this is the difference between when people talk about a spreadsheet or a worksheet versus a workbook. That's what they're talking about. The book is the whole file. The sheet is just the page you're looking at. So I hope that clears that up. Definitely continue to visit me online, and I'm on Legacy Family Tree webinars, and you all already know about my website. And definitely check out my AI for Genealogists book, which is on Amazon. So thank you for watching. I hope you all have a good day, and happy searching and researching.